So, about a month ago, here in Texas, we got hit with a really nasty freeze, and I don't have a backup generator or anything, so my tank was off for about a day and a half. And the tank temperature actually got down to 55 degrees, which is not good. I ended up getting an inverter for the car, running the car in the garage for a couple hours a day to let the pumps run. Was boiling some water on the stove that's gas powered, or I guess a gas stove, and did what I could to keep the temperature up. But the temperature did get down to about 55 when the power came back on, and yeah, all the fish ended up surviving. Didn't have any losses there. The anemone actually shrunk up to about 3 times the size of that clownfish there. But he has actually grown significantly well. He's recovered really well. The clam did well. A lot of the zoas did okay, with the exception of the utter chaos zoas that I've got that used to be completely full, and they've kind of died back a little bit. And I know the camera's not wanting to focus, but yeah. So I did lose all my Montipora, with the exception of, God, my phone really does not want to focus, but with the exception of in the back there, I have some sunset Montiporas. There we go. So I've got a little, probably quarter-inch piece of the sunset Montiporas that are actually starting to come back. Everything else is pretty much gone. Had some bird's nest, that's gone. There is a little piece of the Montipora back here. I'm not 100% sure what kind it is. But the odd thing is, it seems like the stuff that was in the shade when the power came back on is what survived. So the little piece back here, it's not going to want to focus. But then I had some Miami Hurricane Chalice. And as you can see, the part that's in the shade is doing the best. The rest of it, pretty much just the polyps survived, so the fleshy tissue around it is starting to grow back. So I'm hesitant about removing the old skeleton of this Montipora up here just yet. I think I'll wait until this is fully recovered. But yeah, the cold temperature also did a weird thing with the mushroom, or toadstool rather. It caused it to start splitting heads off of it. So while this was like 4 or 5 of them that had already happened, now I've got so many more that have just dropped off and started spawning their own. So it kind of, yeah, there's some back there. So it kind of initiated a spawning event with them. And a result of this now is I've got very high nitrates in the tank, very high nitrites. Just went through and removed a lot of the algae, macroalgae from the refugium down here. But as you can see, I've got a lot of this red cyanoalgae. So I'm going to do a treatment for that. So best case scenario, if you lose power and your tank gets really low in temperature, I would say, first of all, don't bring your lights back at full intensity. Probably do an acclimation period where you bring them back at 50% and gradually over the next week bring them back on. And secondly, get a generator. So yeah, that's my update. I'm not sure why the clam did as well as it did, but the clam and the anemone in particular seem to have thrived from this happening. And like I said, the toadstool just decided to start reproducing like crazy. So if anyone's in the Houston area and wants some toadstool frags, let me know.